Welcome everyone to the 114th AOE meet in its old form and 102nd meeting of Association of Entrepreneurs in its present form when it was made a society. The happy birthday boy is Vikas Rajput during this month. He is on the way to Shimla, so I don't know whether we'll be able to catch him. And also, I love the wording, the simple act of caring is heroic by Edward Elbert. Today's speaker is Mastering the Science of Sales by our guest speaker, Mr. Ratish Pandey, who has joined us just now at the beginning of the meet itself. And we have a 5-minute wisdom session with AoEan Rajiv Shankar Mathur, who had been very helpful throughout the last year during COVID times. Then we have the internal speaker, AoEan Abhineet Seth, who will be our internal speaker, and he'll give a talk about his company and about himself. Mr. Pandey was keen on knowing about AOE. Mr. Pandey, this is the history and facts that this AOE was formed by like-minded entrepreneurs, principal purpose being to have an association with common aim of development of personal knowledge and businesses through pooling of resources available with each of them. And large fellow member base to be able to have a large resource pool.
Perfect, Ji. Perfect. Thank you. This helps.
It also is to create sufficient opportunities to interact with fellow members in order to develop trust and relationship and help fellow members through sharing of knowledge and experience in order to help them expand their horizons. In fact, we are 29 members and we are adding on day by day. Presently, we are 29. Of course, people come in and then people go. It's always a part of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
AOE provides a great platform for valuable learnings from guest speakers like you, interaction and learning from some very good fellow entrepreneurs and good human beings, and possibility of building relationship with some great people from varied fields. Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. This was registered as a non-profit society. We meet every month since August 2012, usually on Saturdays. This time it was Holi, so and the social. That is why we have had it on the fourth Saturday. And normally we meet in the past when it was offline, we used to meet at India Habitat Center. This is the normal exposure to our normal meetings which we had at India Habitat Center. Most of us have been present there, but it is good to see old faces. This is Mr. Veer Sagar, our chairman emeritus, Naveen Sardana, Shishir, and most of the members who were present at that time. And this is the social we had last year, this year. We had some social. I'll come to that later after the introduction of members. Our foundation stones, our founder chairman is Mr. V. Sagar. He has been a guide and mentor to most of us. We always look to whatever he says. We learn. We have learned a lot from him, and he is doing a lot of series of on YouTube on management, and we use it as something which we can pass on to the next generation. Also, we use it for ourselves and we share it with others. Mr. Naveen Sardana is our past chairman, who was the vice president with Mr. Veer Sagar from the very beginning. He has also been a great help to the AOE. The managing team is presently, chairman is Mr. Shashir, vice chairman Mr. Naresh Vej, myself as general secretary, and the rest of the team is there. Our members, which can be seen on our site also, we have a very lovely site which is being managed by Mr. Abhijeet Roy. This is the site. Wisdom sharing and investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. We are on YouTube, courtesy Mr. Arjun Pandey. We have had all this programs on YouTube, which is being seen by a lot of people in the general public too. Our Facebook, AOE India. This is a fantastic thing. We have a very great mentoring team consisting of Mr. Veer Sagar, who is the chairman of Selectronics, Mr. Sanjeev Narayan, founder and chairperson SGS Techniques, and Mr. Rajiv Shankar Mathur, founder Critical Care Unified. We are beholden to the team because they are helping members and sometimes the family of the members, and they have been a great help to the members who are asking for their help. And right now there is a line where people have requested that they also should be mentored. So hats off to the mentoring team. Great idea and very useful to the members. Can I now request the guest speaker, Mr. Ratish Pandey?
So before I start, and I'll of course add a little bit about myself. I qualified about 40 years back, but and for the initial part of my journey, my entrepreneurial journey was also practicing as a chartered accountant for about 14 odd years. And then I moved over to the corporate world. I led up multinational companies in India and abroad, and in the for about 20 years. In that, I was managing not only India businesses, but also Middle East and Africa businesses for a pretty long stretch. Somebody mentioned electronics, which was music to my ears, because actually all of my 20 years of work as an employee was in the consumer electronics field. I was leading up both in India and Middle East and Africa. And then post that, I came back, had a short stint with another company in Bombay. And then I said, it's enough. I need to sort of wear my entrepreneur hat once again. And 2018 is when I started consulting, got myself certified as an action coach in 2019. And since then, my passion day in, day out is helping entrepreneurs succeed. That's what I do for a living.
World abundance through business re-education. Since 1993, Action Coach business coaches have lived that vision by helping business owners across the planet build great companies, create more jobs, and truly grow their communities. Real people getting real results. We've always believed that being in business should give you more life, and right now we believe in something even greater. The abundance of those amazing business owners, the abundance of the employees in those companies, the abundance of providing free education to every business owner and every local or national business group globally, the abundance of being there for you and every business that needs us right now.
So what is Action Coach? As you just saw, we are pretty much the world's largest business coaching organization in the world. We spread across over, actually the most recent number is 93 countries. Every week we coach more than 30,000 businesses globally. What's our vision? Simple. World abundance through business re-education. Somebody did mention in the slides, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. And that's where we as coaches step in, because we understand that there are a lot of challenges that you face you don't know who to speak to. Now, who's Ethique? Ethique is my firm, and we are part of, we are a licensee for Action Coach. We do business coaching, executive coaching, business strategy, and business transformation. You can follow us on www.ethique advisory. We do have all the necessary social media handles, be it Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, and you can get a whole bunch of information about us on those. This, of course, has happened. Baljit was kind, so I know everybody who's in the room. Great to know and meet everybody. About me, I think apart from whatever you got to know, there are two other pieces of information that I'd love to share. I was named the Coach of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year 2021 Coaching Services by Entrepreneur.com. And within the Action Coach community, I was recognized for the year 2021 as the coach getting the best client results. So, and I'm quite sort of proud of those achievements, although it happened not because of me, but because of the entrepreneurs that I worked with. On the fund side, I am an angel investor and I invest in multitude of domains on the startup side, be it ed tech, be it healthcare, legal tech. So I have about 6, 7, 8 angel investments that I enjoy. And I work very strongly with the startups also, and mentoring them and working with them. What is my purpose today as your coach for the next 20-25 minutes? To reward your time investment with simplest, fastest way to provide you with a different perspective on sales and tune up your sales process. Start thinking from your sales as a process. Because ultimately, if we are not thinking of sales as a process, we'll miss a point or two. But before that, I have just a couple of slides on the mindset. We have senior people like Veer in the room, so I'm sure love to interact with him after this talk. So imagine the line of power. We call it the line of power, and what lies below the line of power are three things: blames, excuses, and denials. And most often you would have seen this from your employees. Sir, I was not able to do this work because, as soon as you say because, you are putting the blame or providing an excuse or denying that it was your responsibility. As entrepreneurs, we are expected always to be above the line of power, right? You need to have the ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And believe me, those are the three key things that help you succeed. So if you are below the line of power, you're always answering the question why it did not happen. Whereas if you're above the line of power, you're always providing the answer as to how I can make it happen. So that is the difference that we need to bring not only in ourselves, but also in our employees. And if we are able to switch our employees to bring them to be above the line of power, believe me, friends, this is going to be a phenomenal change for your organization, because then they will always play the victor card and not the victim card. The victim card is always when you're below the line, that I'm a victim of somebody else's action or inaction. Whereas when you're playing the victor card, you're always saying, how can I make it happen? And always looking for solutions. So think about that. It's a phenomenal concept. And the next concept that I like to talk about is what we call the formula for life success. Now, most people, anybody that you speak to as to what do you want in life, what do you want to have? And people will talk about, oh, I want to have a fancy car, I want to have a fancy house, I want to have a vacation every 6 months, international or whatever. I want to have a trip that is around the world, and so many other things that people listed out. And then you ask the next question, how are you going to get it? And the most simple answer is, oh, I'm going to work hard. So the basic concept being, I'm going to do something to get my haves. So imagine haves as your results, outcomes, wins. So most people believe that it is working hard will get you your haves. And the working hard is about your actions and the behaviors. What most of us miss out is one key element in this whole equation. And that key element is what we talk about, the B piece. हिंदी में अगर बोलूं कि कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ करना पड़ेगा और कुछ बनना पड़ेगा. So it is that banna, the B piece that we miss out, because that is where it's all in the mind. So what is B? B is your mindset. B is your thoughts, your knowledge, your beliefs, your identity, and more importantly, your values. So how do you, as an entrepreneur, change all this in you? And as coaches, we work with you on both the ends. I believe there was somebody on the in the software domain too, right? So imagine, and to make it very easy for those of you who understand this concept, the B is the software part, the do is the hardware piece to give you a complete system. And that is what you need to think about. You need to think about it from a fashion that it is not just about doing. And a lot of entrepreneurs I know that I meet, they say, sir, we start work at 8 in the morning, finish at 8 or 9 p.m. and we're still there because they are not putting the B in place. They are only doing. So instead of businessmen, they are busy men. So what we need to focus on is be smart and understand what do we need to fix in ourselves and also fix in the business. Do both the things together to get what is it that you want to have. Okay, this is a quick thing, and I'll post it later on for everybody's thing. If you want to get a quick sense of your business scorecard, I'll put this on it's a Google form. So if those of you are interested, I'll post it in, and you can probably get a quick sense and I can share it back with you. So this I will post. So this is basically a simple way to look at how to build your sales. A simple, you have to measure what is your current, what are the strategies you can apply, what is the likely increase that you will get out of it, the new number, and once you put that together, you will figure out what change you can bring to your business. Any questions at this stage?
I don't have questions. I'd like to ask you because you missed. It's not there. Veer Sagaria. See, in my marketing career, my customer is my vertical. People ask me, what's your vertical? What do you focus on? And I say customer. And I go to the customer and ask him, what's your pain point?
Sure.
And he tells me that may nothing to do with what I am doing. Right? But I listen to his pain point and try and fix that. That customer is your man for life, and he will get you more customers. He becomes your salesman. I have grown my entire organization like this. That was one focus I have. The second focus is collection. A sale is nowhere in your chart you talk about collection. A sale is never completed until the money is collected. All your bottom line, top line, side lines, all are useless if the money does not come in. Then the third one, of course, is an operational issue of cash management. And another issue which, as an entrepreneur, I emphasize very, very strongly is we are not here for money. Money will come. We are here for enjoyment. You enjoy what you're doing. The moment you think you're doing a job, then you are in trouble. You're gone. You come here to enjoy, build teams, build friends, and you get challenges. Not that they having easy time and having party. They have massive challenges. Some of them have, what I call mission impossible. We have done mission impossibles. They enjoy that because that's a challenge. They get empowered, they enjoy. We do not talk about profit. Profit comes. The customer, I ask the customer his selling price because I sell value to him. I ask him, what is it worth to you?
Sure, sir.
So, I mean, they're quite different from what you are saying. But I
No,
just
no,
thought
no.
I'll bring this to your notice.
Absolutely.
I say, am I
Absolutely.
doing something wrong? No, to get
No,
your
you're not.
advice.
No,
To get
you're
your
not.
advice.
I'll
Am I
connect
doing
the dots
something
for you,
wrong?
sir. I'll
Am I
connect the
doing
dots for
something
you, sir.
wrong?
I'll
Please,
connect the dots for you.
please.
So, and you absolutely brilliantly said that it is about, and how we look at it is, and even when we talk to entrepreneurs, we talk about very simply problem before solution and purpose before problem, right? So when you think of that perspective, what you said is absolutely right, and that is the sales pitch side of it, right? So what you're talking about is how to get the leads. How to get the leads when we are interacting with the customer. What is the problem that the customer has, and what is the solution that we will have? So when we're looking at the sales, when we're looking at getting the leads and converting them to customers, that is where these strategies that Veerji talked about are what will be required. So understanding what the problem is, showing the customer the pain that he's having because of the problem, and then talking about the fact that, hey, I'm coming as the savior. Here is the solution that I can show, and with this solution, all this pain will go away. So absolutely, you're right. On the cash flow side, absolutely, collection and cash flow go hand in hand. And we do have strategies to how look at closing the cash gap, as we call it in our business course, closing the cash gap. So you can have, if you're, those of you who are in manufacturing and distribution, subsequently on the downstream side, the biggest challenge for manufacturers these days is you're buying on credit, but you're actually giving far greater credit to your customers, and therefore at times you're getting crunched in between, where you don't have funds to even grow the business. So to your point, absolutely. And those are the cash management techniques that we talk about. And absolutely, I'm with you 100%. And I absolutely say that no sale is complete till cash is not in the bank, because otherwise, what are we selling? We're not being good businessmen, if I may, business people rather. I try and be gender agnostic these days. But yes, absolutely, you're right.
Not really a question, but I actually like the way you presented these thoughts. Yes, I'll look at some of these points in relation to the business I'm doing, and probably focusing a little less on leads and more on existing customers. These are the thoughts I wrote from your message for my business. Although I'm in kind of e-commerce space, but focusing on repeat customers has been giving us great value. And this also reminded me of a small article that I read in a newspaper just a few days back. It is about that famous story of a man meeting a genie, which we all might have heard. And Jenny gives you 3 wishes. I'm sorry, there is ambient noise here. Jenny gives you 3 wishes where the man thinks, okay, give me a beautiful house because it will give me happiness. So Jenny says, given. Then he says, give me lots of money because it will give me happiness. Fantastic. Then he says, give me, then third thing he thinks is, give me a beautiful wife because he thinks it will make him happy. So instead, the author said that he only needed to ask one thing. He only needed to ask Jenny that make me happy, and everything would have happened. So focusing on the right things, yes, can change a lot in our work. And thank you so much for explaining this.
Thank you, Shishir. I have in the chat box posted the 5-way equation. You can pick it up, and those of you who can't pick it up, you can write to me. I will send it. Happy to send it over email.
I'll just give a vote of thanks to Mr. Ratish Pandey. In fact, I was very impressed that most of our guest speakers don't join from the very beginning. They try to join only when the said hour comes or the time comes. But I was impressed that he had come here at exactly at 4 o'clock. And incidentally, I am also a chartered accountant with exact 40 years of practice. So we share the common profession.
Yep.
So it was interesting to see that you have shifted after 14 years of practice into something which you loved and which you enjoyed. And thank you sharing your journey with us. Thanks for making us more knowledgeable. And in fact, I'm going to share this with my partners, because we are having the problems of getting new businesses. And also, like Mr. Veer pointed out, it is till you have the money in the bank, it is not a sale done. So thank you very much for being with us and helping us understand and making our businesses even better. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, all of you, for hosting me. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I would request Mr. Veer Sagar to update on the AOE mentoring, please.
Last week, we had a very nice meeting with Abhishek. And we made the first step of trying to understand. And next meeting, we will go to deep dive into his activity. We just had a free-flowing discussion about where he is going, what his concerns are. And now between Rajiv, Sanjeev, and hopefully we'll get Baljit also in, we'll analyze a lot of his data and go forward from there. Rajiv, you want to add something, because you're the main driver of this.
No, that's it. It's been very comprehensive what you said, absolutely. And we are waiting for another detailed session with Brigav, so that we can move that forward. So we hope to have a fairly active April, both with Brigav and with Abhishek. So looking forward to those.
Because our other two have disappeared. They're actually doing well. We brought luck to them. I don't know whether we brought knowledge or not, but we definitely brought luck. The other two mentees are doing well.
Great.
We're going with the thing that you were mentioning earlier. No sale is complete till collection. Have these gentlemen who are taking mentoring paid the notional amount that is supposed to be paid to AOE, Tejinder and Baljit?
So we are not, that we have to ask the administration. We just get a message saying that this person is to be taken as a mentee. We follow.
Yeah, but no, I'm not checking with you. I'm asking Baljit and Tejinder, because
ask them.
not here. If they have not paid, please send them an invoice and reminder, so that process is also complete.
With interest charges.
No, if you don't raise the invoice, you'll not get the money, so it's not their fault.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm just taking this opportunity because we just mentioned about collection and it makes sense. Right, Baljit, can I take a minute, because my battery is conking off?
Please go ahead.
From with laptop, it is only about this last week's social that went so fantastic, and everybody, Sanjeev Narayanji's support in organizing that, and all of the managing team and all the participants. But the important thing that I further want to mention is about the 4 awards that we decided this year on, and we'll continue every year. In the AOE meeting, in the social, probably it was not very clearly heard. The first award, which was Spirit of Discipline Award from AOE, was given to Neeraj Bhargav, because he has been the most consistent attendee in the meetings in the last 2 years. So the second one was Spirit of Bonding Award to Mr. Raj Mutreja. Although doesn't appears to be, he apparently has done maximum one-to-ones in this period. And I hope somebody else takes this award next year. And Spirit Beyond Entrepreneurship Award was, I mean, many people were considered, but the one who did maximum was Arjun Pandey, especially his efforts to feed those troubled people during that COVID lockdowns. And the Spirit of Founders Award, of course, Veer Sagar, for the exemplary work that he has done for AOE from day one. I just wanted to reiterate this once again, and we would like to do this in next few meetings so that all of us are aware. And next year, some more people actually are there in the lead to take these awards. Thank you. Thank you, Baljit.
Great. Now, can we go to the 5 minutes learnings with the AOE, Mr. Rajiv Shankar Mathur, please?
Okay. Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, when I was just reflecting on the learnings that I could share with this very august group, all through my career, there have been many instances, many people with whom, I've had interaction and have had some jewels of inspiration and learnings that I have picked up all along. But the one that I thought really probably has certainly helped a bit on my DNA in terms of life, in terms of business, in terms of moving forward, is going back into the early 1970s when I was still a student. So I belong to Agra, and in the summer months of Agra, I was on my Lambretta scooter, standing in a place called Sadar Bazaar, which is not far from the Taj Mahal in Agra, with a couple of friends. And in the summer months, there were about 4 or 5 young Japanese boys. And, in the summer, they were wearing their, their vests and all of that, and have gone around all of Agra, etc., with their bags and water bottles, etc. And we were sitting around. So I was sitting on the seat of my Lambretta scooter, and these guys were sitting around on a ledge, and we were right next to a sugarcane wala. A sugarcane wala who was taking out fresh sugarcane juice, complete with, sugarcane falling over the ice, etc. It was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And as the sugarcane waste was coming out of the machine, he was, throwing it onto the side so that he would collect it later and throw it away. And suddenly I found that one of those young Japanese boys was missing. He went away. He was away for maybe about 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something. He came back and he started collecting that long strands of waste of sugarcane that was being thrown away after he had extracted the juice out of it. And what he did was he brought with him a box of paintbrush, the old paintbrush boxes, which are those small round things, the boxes of paint, the brushes, etc. He brought some wire strings and all of that. He picked up the waste, he chopped them off, he made them into like you make a Japanese fan, strung them along, painted them, etc., all of that. And he sat right there and he sold them. And it wasn't any great price, but I think he was just trying to recover, whatever he might have spent on the paint box and the paint brushes and the wire and all of that, right? Where there were 3 things that came to my mind. One is clearly, this whole thing about entrepreneurship and about innovation. And most of all, at that point in time, amongst the youth of Japanese, there was a lot of pride. As Japan was coming out of the scars of the war and all of that, there was a lot of pride. And I think if we were able to combine these aspects of innovation, entrepreneurship, looking at what we have and what we can make out of it and make it valuable. And of course, pride, because he made that into that typical Japanese fan right there. And it was a very unique thing, and of course, those were not the days of the mobile phone, so I couldn't take a picture and all of that. But in whatever broken English, Hindi, Portuguese, whatever, he had taken pictures where the Japanese always had a camera and all of that. I wrote on a piece of paper my address and all of that. And 2 months later, I did get those pictures, right? And frankly, I mean, I'm sure they're lying somewhere because I haven't seen them for a while, but they were really, I cherish them because it always reminded me of that spirit. And the 3 things that really came through to me was innovation, entrepreneurship, and pride. So I think in a lot of areas, we find that there is innovation, there's a lot of entrepreneurship, but I think, pride in something or whatever cause that we are running or whatever we are doing, whatever value that we are adding, I think there's got to be pride in just that. I think that's a great formula. So I thought I'd share that with the group here. There are, of course, learnings from many, many great people that I have interacted with over the career, but this is something that just stays in my mind right through. So I thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you, Rajivji. That was a great sharing. And, thanks to Shishir of adding this 5-minute learnings, we get to know so many things in life from every one member of Association of Entrepreneurs. I would now request Mr. Atulji to introduce himself before we bring in the internal presenter. Atulji, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Atul Kumar Saxena. I am two caps. One cap is I am president of Indian Importers Chamber of Commerce, which is spread all over the world. And number two, I am also the chairman of Om Impex Private Limited, where we specialize in healthcare products 360 degrees. And we have businesses in only two countries on healthcare, Bangladesh and Vietnam. Thank you.
Thank you, Atulji. Mr. Virender Malik, can you please introduce yourself? And it was nice to see you at the social. It was we were very happy to meet you there.
Unfortunately, for a very short while. Thank you very much. I'm Virender Malik. I'm a printer and a publisher. Print mostly for the government departments, and I have my own magazines in publishing on the subject of printing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Now I'll ask Abhineet to be ready. By the time I just introduce him, Mr. Abhineet Seth is an engineer and postgraduate in business administration from Institute of Management Technology, Ghaziabad. He started his career with Godrej and Boyce, designing and executing warehousing solutions and building some of the best warehouses of the time, including Maruti Suzuki and its various ancillaries, Suzuki motorcycles, IOCL refineries across North India, and physical record storage solution for PMOs, Prime Minister's Office, Parliament House Library, Supreme Court, Indian Law Institute, and dozens of other corporations and offices. After a 5-year stint with Godrej, Abhineet moved on to Future Group and became a part of their core team that started the retail concept Hometown. During his 7-year stint with Future Group, Abhineet expanded and spearheaded Hometown and e-zone retail concepts in the region. His last corporate assignment was with Hindware to head the national operations for Evoque, a home retail concept from the well-known brand, where he was instrumental in strategic, operational, positive turnaround of the company within a short span. Having tasted success in the corporate field for nearly 14 years, Abhineet started his venture Abodekraftz in January 2015. He is actually a serial entrepreneur because he's also has gone into what do you call selling what do you call produce. Abhineet, can you help me there?
Well, that's a second venture which I don't want to talk about today, but it was into organic products, including organic vegetables and organic manures.
Yeah. So, but you are a serial, that way I can call you a serial entrepreneur. He also regularly authors articles for various leading dailies and magazines, including DNA and Times of India. Abhineet is married to Ashita and has two lovely daughters, Naisha and Rutvisha, one of whom we met at the social. Apart from business, Abhineet is passionate about cars, movies, and loves reading. Over to you, Abhineet.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Not taking much time. We are already at 5:24, so I understand we have about less than 30 minutes. Let me just share the screen immediately. Okay. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. So today I'll talk about my company, Abodekraftz. I'll quickly give an overview about the company, and I would want to share my part of knowledge with everyone so that you all can actually design your own spaces. This is a quick evolution about Abodekraftz. Abodekraftz as a concept was conceptualized in January 2015 with just one vertical, kitchen remodeling specialty vertical. Back in my previous 10 years were into specialty retail, into home retailing and electronic retail. During all my entire stint, I realized that any company, and it was about entire homemaking needs, but then you can't go, you can't do everything at one point in time. I identified a niche at that point in time, and where I said that all companies which are focusing on making kitchens or delivering kitchens to the world, especially in the country, can only target new dwellings. If somebody is coming with a new house, or if a builder is building a new set of apartments, and all companies can actually give that. But whereas that is only 1% of the market, 99% of the market was remodeling, where people are staying in the same home and they want to do up their own kitchens. Within that also, there were two sets of kitchens. One was old versions of kitchens where the kitchens had been made in the traditional way. And in the previous 15 years, almost 60% of the market had already migrated to the modular kitchen, the new age kitchens. So we developed a specialty where we started remodeling kitchens, and 75% of the cases we could give back the kitchens with a downtime of only 5 days. Only 5 days the kitchen will remain closed for their houses. We got a very good initial success, and that gave us the confidence to expand. By 2016 end, we realized that the real estate segment in North India was going down, and we had to take a call whether we would want to expand vertically, scale up, or we would want to expand horizontally. I think with my experience, I took a call that we should, my gut feel said that this market into scaling up will require a lot of working capital, which of course I didn't have. And that's when I decided to expand horizontally. So in Jan 2017, we got into full home interiors, which again, with the kind of background we had and with the kind of team I had, we've been getting good success overall. By Jan 2018, we got into complete office interiors. In this duration, between the first couple of years itself, we set up our own woodworking workshop, because wood, I believe, is the most critical part of any house, and it actually demarcates the final finishing. And to outsource it was not a good choice. So we set up our own small workshop in a village called Nakrola next to Manesar, kept our overheads low, and started using the same machines to develop not just kitchens, but wardrobes, TV units, vanity basins, and then even office furniture. By Jan 2019, we got in, and all these expansions have been organic. Our clients have asked us, and we have come up with solutions. So when we have moved from kitchens to full home interiors to even office interiors, the clients asked us that, why don't you do this also for us? Because they liked our quality. I think we had developed that bond, that trust. By Jan 2019, one of our clients then got us into making complete civil constructions for them, and making complete and restoring an existing building for them without actually breaking the building down. 2020, COVID happened, and still, by God's grace and maybe with the kind of structure we had made, we survived, and we survived happily. By Jan 2021, we then started giving value addition services. So we added home styling as a part of our complete kitty. Abodekraftz today is a one-stop design and build construction and interiors company. We are into home interiors, office interiors, independent home constructions. We do warehouses, retail spaces. We restore old houses without demolitions. When we said design and build, we are very clear about one thing. We design and we execute. Just to give you some glimpses of the kind of works that we do, although we are not very fond of repeating ourselves, we never repeat ourselves. But this is just to give a small glimpse into the kind of works that we have been doing thus far. Everything from homes to offices to warehouses and retail spaces as well. So like every business, we also try and create differentiators, and so differentiators can be two ways. One, in the product quality or a product USP, and second is in the execution play. we have tried both, and we keep trying, regularly trying both. When we say design and build, so we say we will design and we will execute. So we are trying to go the Singaporean way of a building contractual firm. In India, the market today has been mostly says that, okay, no, there's an architect, then there is an executing team. At times there is a project management company. We amalgamate all the three. We do not. We are trying to resolve the problem statement of a customer, where the client is not then required to speak to multiple people to get his house or his office made. So right from location selection to planning to licensing for the designs with the authorities to the end-to-end interior design, right from electrical, plumbing, and every interior part of the house or the office, executing it and stylizing it to the last mile is what we do. We still are kitchen remodeling specialists. We do have that vertical maintained, but we don't propagate it. Because that business is running on its own now, on momentum. Just again, I repeat, we take pride in saying this, that we are a specialist into that field today, because we have 100% record that once we evaluate and guarantee a 5-day turnaround, we will not take the kitchen to the 6th day. Theme-based designs. Each design, a new site, each theme is a new unique theme. 100% timely executions. What we commit is what we will deliver. And we take pride in saying it today that 100% of our clients today are our brand ambassadors. This is the level of confidence that we have. You can see my screen right now. The nameplates on the houses that we do have, we stamp our brand underneath on the nameplates. This is the level of confidence that we have on every site. Today, as on day, we have 16 sites already in these years where we have these nameplates tagged now. Apart from various individual families, we also have corporate clients, Beam Sundry, Pernod Ricard, Eagle Films, K&M, Man Company, White Cub, and counting. Our initial years, what sailed us through? Well, I like most of you, I am also a first-time entrepreneur. I did not have any of my family members into the business, into any kind of businesses. So there was less scope of learnings and more scope of actually fear factor being imbibed into me, that, don't get into business. What are you doing? You're doing well in the corporate life. Why do you want to get into business? But I think I went by my instinct and I said, let me give it a shot. So there I would actually want to thank AOE and each AOEan today who individually has actually shared their experiences with me, and that has helped me not just stabilize but even grow my business to the level it is today. Each and every person, each and every AOE, right from Mr. Veer Sagar, Mr. Shishir Chaturvedi, Mr. Raj Mutreja, everyone. I would actually I can take 29 names right now. Everyone has actually helped me individually. We controlled our overheads. I realized very early that if I try and increase my overheads, it will be difficult for at a later stage, and that is possibly that helped us during harsh times like COVID. Horizontal expansion helped us instead of vertically scaling up. I definitely questioned the norm that every business has to be scaled up vertically. I said let's scale up horizontally. Let's add verticals, because I do believe MBA had taught us that there are only two ways to increase a business: one, increase the product range, or two, increase the market. So I, instead of increasing the market and going nationally or globally, I said let's increase the product range. Quality is sacrosanct. We will not compromise on quality at any cost. My entire executing team knows it, that They will not be penalized for a mistake unless they keep repeating it. But they will be penalized if they try to hide a mistake at the site. 100% of our business today is a reference-based business. And today, by God's grace, we are lined up, we are filled with work, we have all our clients referring us one after the other. And today, our entire flow of business is on references. We undercommit, we overdeliver. We will not cross the lines of what we'll say, whether it is about cost, whether it's about timeline, or whether it is about quality. And I think overall, the trust that we have been able to develop with all our clients is what has sailed us through. What we want to be eventually is a build-to-suit spaces company. We would eventually want to collect a bank of locations, spaces, plots, apartments, and offer them to our clients. We will handpick these locations, shortlist them, maybe buy them at times, and then convert them into wonderful livable abodes and spaces and offer them to our clients. Boutique homes and offices, couture to every individual, every family, every team. We want to carve and strengthen our niche. So when we started way back in Jan 2015 as a cuisine couture and beyond company, we today are a space couture and beyond company. Okay. Now let me actually, as my responsibility, as my duty, let me actually give my 2 bits of knowledge to everyone. Why don't you all actually look at your own houses, your own spaces, and design your own space yourself as well. Look at these snippets. I will share these with you so that then you can look at your spaces and improve them upon. Kitchen, of course, we started with kitchen. So today I'm going to touch about kitchens, and I'm going to touch about some ergonomics about furnitures and a bit about wall decors. Part 1. Pardon me because it's a huge subject. Otherwise, it will go on and on. When we plan a kitchen, there are various shapes of kitchen. There's a straight kitchen, there's parallel kitchen, there's an L-shaped kitchen, there's a U-shaped kitchen, G-shaped kitchen, and island kitchens. One thing, the first primary thing that we always need to look at is that the 3 primary things in a kitchen: the hob placement, the sink placement, and the refrigerator placement. These should be such that they do not, that 3 different people can actually operate these 3 different locations and not collide with each other. Independently, they should be able to work. You can see how we, this is just a denotation of how we can actually intelligently design a kitchen. Right. Ergonomic of the kitchen, a very clear ergonomic. The bottom, the base cabinets will come at a height of usually a height of about 850 mm in the Indian scenario. In the US scenario, at about 900 mm. When I say 900 mm, it's roughly about 3 feet. 850 mm is about 34 inches. The gap between, when we say the dado area or the blank area between the upper wall cabinet and the lower cabinet will be about anything between 1.5 to 2 feet. In Indian scenario, it will be 2 feet. And as you can see that the wall cabinet will always be about 10 inches less deep than the base cabinets, so that when somebody is working on the kitchen top, the head does not collide on the wall cabinet. The usable height of the wall cabinet is actually 7 feet. You actually can't use it beyond that regularly. So usually 2100 mm from the floor level is what we go as the top of the wall cabinet. Beyond that is unusable height, or which we say as the loft. A point, I would want that anyone who wants to ask any clarity can actually interject me anytime. Appliances, when it comes to appliances, look at this. Chimney, a lot of people ask us questions like, should we go for design? What is the kind of chimney? What brand should we go for? My only answer to them always is just look at technicals. Chimneys in India come usually 99% chimneys come in only two sizes, 60 centimeter width and 90 centimeters width. Look at the length of the duct, that where is your chimney located and what is the out end of the duct. And the number of turns that duct is taking from the point of chimney to the point outside. The less the number of turns, the better will be the efficiency. And that length should ideally never cross 5 meters. Never. Suction power. Suction power for a chimney is the most important part. 1100 cubic meter per hour should be the bare minimum. In the Indian style of cooking, this is the bare minimum suction power that everyone should look at. Selecting the right hobs. When you go and try and select a hob, you'll get 3 burners, 2 burners, 3 burners, 4 burners, 5 burners. People get greedy at times and say, 5 burner kyun nahi lete? Why should we take a 3 burner? Please understand that, if you look at, there is a wall behind the hob, and the orientation matters a lot. So if somebody takes my suggestion, I would always suggest anyone to go for a 3 burner hob or a 4 burner hob in a plus scenario, in a plus way. So the leftmost or the third from left is definitely the most technically user-friendly hob orientation. Second, in Indian scenario, always go for brass burners. Brass burners will give you the right kind of flame. Don't go for imported hob burners. Go for brass burners, don't go for aluminium burners. So most of the imported hobs have aluminium burners, the flame levels are low. Indian cooking definitely requires high flame norms, and you should specifically ask for brass burners whenever you're going in to buy a hob. Okay, next let's look at furnitures. A very basic thing that we all very basic mistakes that we do while choosing side tables next to our beds. Now understand this, the height of the side table should not exceed the top of the mattress ever. In fact, it can be 1 inch or 2 inches lower than the mattress, not even too low. So a too low is also wrong, a too big is also not the right thing to do. Just about 1 or 2 inches lower than the mattress height is the right size for a side table. Look back in your homes, see if it is not the right, if you have not done it, change your side table today or change your mattress. Okay, the last piece for today, wall decor ergonomics. Whenever you are fixing a painting on the wall of your house, divide the wall in 4 quadrants vertically, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The painting should largely lie in the 3rd quadrant from the floor. Largely. That should be the most occupied quadrant. And the top of the top frame of the painting should be aligned to something. Either the door height or the window height next to it. It has to be aligned to some part. That's a quick one from me here. Thank you so much, AOE. Wish to meet you all soon.
I want to thank everybody who had joined, and we had a really large number of people who had joined. So thanks, Ratish ji, for joining us. Really nice to have you here. Thank you very much. I think we can call it a day.